That first step might feel like the most pitiful step, might feel like nothing. It might even feel shameful to be doing it. But it's not. It's the beginning step. It's the beginning stage. And it's not about where you start. It's not about, the beginning moments. It's about continuing the process. It's about the momentum you build. It's about doing the work. It's about continuing to show up. Because especially when you take on something monumental, something life-changing, something like chasing greatness that is going to radically and drastically transform your entire life. Yeah, those first few steps aren't going to be much, but the momentum build, the momentum and progression from there will snowball faster than you could imagine, quicker than you could have ever realized, into this life of greatness, life that you have always wanted, building something that you can be proud of. But you have to take those first steps. And we touched about this a little bit yesterday on the comparison thing. The problem is we compare ourselves to the highest level on this. We are blessed to live in a time when, you're right here listening to me, that you can watch great people do incredible things. You can listen to podcasts on experts and other people who are ahead of you on the journey. You can listen to some of the greatest in a field and see where they are. And then you try and compare yourself to them and go, fuck, why am I failing? Why am I so far behind? Not realizing that they are 5, 10, 20 years ahead of you in this game. When if you compared yourself to your peers, if you compared yourself to the normal person, you'd realize that you are doing phenomenally fucking well. Especially if we are talking health and fitness and these kinds of things. Do you know how low the bar is? Do you know that the bar is on the fucking ground when it comes to this? If you work out vigorously, which nowadays has been downgraded to, I believe, a 45-minute walk 3 times a week, you are now better, and I think it's like 85% of the population. Correct? I might be wrong on these stats, but it is an astronomical level. If you work out every single day, you are now in like the top 1%. If you work out twice a day, you're in the top 1% of the 1%. Like, you are so fundamentally rare that it is insane. If you are not overweight, that puts you in the top third of the population. The top third. Not being fit, not being healthy, not anything like that, just not overweight. The bar is on the floor. That's why, when I'm talking about this with Chasing Greatness, no, it's not easy. But we don't want easy. We've been lulled into this false sense that we want this easy life. And we have this skewed dichotomy of the world that we are constantly seeing this upper echelon of people and experts and, if we're talking fitness freaks, like the top tier of those kinds of things, where the bar has been constantly moved on this. Like if we talk bodybuilding, for example, if you took Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is considered one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, and you placed him in a classic physique competition today, he probably wouldn't win. He'd probably be called soft and out of shape, which is mind-boggling. If you put him in the open category, there is zero chance he'd win. He'd be considered small. This is how fast things have shifted in this. And then we are looking at and comparing ourselves to this top level of it. And as we spoke about yesterday, I think there is a big difference between we should be aspiring to the highest level. We should be aspiring to greatness. We should be aspiring to be the best we can possibly be. But we cannot compare ourselves to those levels, because there's a concept called the Superman principle. And you can benefit from this, but it has skewed our view on things drastically. So the best example of the Superman principle is if Tony Hawk, who's a skateboarder, was the first man, I believe this is the version, first man to ever do a 360 on a skateboard. Now there are 5-year-olds doing a 1080 because they saw it was possible. It's the same with the 4-minute mile. Roger Bannister was the first man to run a 4-minute mile. Now high school athletes run it. But when Roger Bannister ran it, it was thought to be impossible. He was thought to be insane. They thought the human body would implode. Same with trains. They thought that if you took the human body faster than, I think it was 20 miles per hour, their heads would explode. The world accepted this as a truth until someone did it. But on the flip side of that, and why you can benefit from the Superman principle, is that you can look at all these people who have done the thing that you want to do, who have mapped it out, who have shown you the way, and you can do it too. Hell, you can do it faster than this. Take my program, Chasing Greatness, for example. When I first undertook this, I didn't know if it was possible. I was making shit up as I was going. I was literally figuring it the fuck out. Some shit worked, some didn't. Some was okay, then I optimized it. And this is the ever-evolving progression of this. So you don't have to go through that grunt work. You don't have to go through those learning to see if it actually works. You can just jump straight in. Jump to the, version, I think we're on version 5.0 of the program. And you can just do it. And it will keep progressing as more people go through it. As it gets refined and refined and refined. You can benefit from this concept as well, because you can just continue to get better at it. But if we are constantly comparing ourselves to the highest level, we're going to feel like shit. This is why we need to shift our ideas of aspirations versus comparison. We should compete against those who are, in our peers. But at the same point, try and be a small fish in a big pond. You want to reach that level where you push around those who are going to elevate you. You don't want to be the big fish in the little pond. You don't want to be comparing yourself to people who are beneath you. But you also don't want to be comparing yourself to people who are, 10 years ahead of you. We have to find this weird balance between the two. We have to find this weird place where we can be inspired and we can aspire to be like those people. And that pushes us forward. That drives us to be the best version, the greatest version of ourselves. But we also can't then let it derail us if we are looking and comparing ourselves. Because, as I said yesterday, when I compare myself to the guys who I want to be like, they don't live the life I live. Most of them don't have kids. Most of them are in their 20s. Most of them are working out is their job. That is not my job. Coaching is my job. Helping you reach your greatest life is my job. That's what I do for a living. It's not to work out and I make money off being in great shape. What I make money off is helping you reach your success. And I aspire to that kind of concept of, if you want to succeed in life, help others succeed in life. And in turn, you will succeed. That's how I view this world. That's how I view this setup. That I am here to help others succeed, and in return, I will succeed. But I think that's why we need competition of peers, competition of equal comparison, not of, well, comparing ourselves to the top tier. That's why I'm building a community, and in everything I do, we focus on building a community so that you can be, well, competitive in a fun environment against those who are roughly the same level, so that you can be pushed and challenged and see where you end up, but not comparing yourself to diminish yourself. And as you can see, because it's a 2 days in a row conversation, but I think a lot of it also comes down to where your headspace is, and understanding that by doing anything, by literally starting an exercise program, you're already better than the average man. You have already exceeded expectations, which is just a fucking wild statement. An absolutely wild statement. But I don't think we should try and fit in. I don't think we should accept what is average. I don't think we should accept what is normal and try and be the same as that. No, I think we should chase our greatness. I think we should aspire to be the greatest version of ourselves. I think we should aspire to be more and do more and push ourselves to, well, the highest level we could possibly be. So yeah, look at the top echelon. Look at those above you. Look at those who you want and aspire to be like them. Study what they do right and take that and utilize it so that you can push forward to be the best version of yourself. To be the greatest version you can be. But within that, also make sure that you aren't losing yourself in that motion. That you aren't losing who you are meant to be. Find yourself a community that is going to push you forward. Find yourself a place where you can grow and lead and inspire others, and then be inspired as you go along the journey. Keep pushing forward in these great areas and, well, see how far you can take this, how far you can push this forward. Because, well, we weren't put on this earth to be average. We weren't put on this earth to accept mediocrity. We weren't put on this earth to just say, well, that's good enough. No, we were put here to be the greatest version of ourselves, to see who we could become. And that's what we're after right now. And maybe you are ashamed of where you are. Maybe you are ashamed of how tiny those first steps are going to be. But understand that the momentum will build. That if you keep pushing forward, it'll become something greater than you are. If you continue to elevate the game, that effort will snowball. That momentum will turn into something incredible. If you are willing to pursue it, if you're willing to stick with it, if you're willing to accept that those first few steps will feel like nothing, but you'll look back in 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 months, 12 months, 5 years, and be like, holy fuck, thank God I took those first steps. No matter how small they were, and it allowed me to become this man. So if you're ready for that, if you're ready to take that first step, click the link in my bio, join Chasing Greatness Daily. Let's build discipline through fitness, and let's discover who you can become on the other side. Because, well, just because you aren't happy with where you are means you need to stay where you are. You can take those first little steps and watch how quickly they become big steps, how quickly they become really, really powerful, momentum building options. So if you're ready for that, click the link in my bio and let's make that a reality. But other than that, I will see you again tomorrow. Until then.